folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast. This week's news brought to you by Casting on Casting. Yes, this week has a ton of casting news or rumors, so I figured we'll just start with running through them. First, let's go to Amazon, who is apparently pushing for Jacob Elordi to play James Bond. So Denis Villeneuve does have a say as well, and this would be pretty interesting. Elordi is just now coming on the scene in a big way. He's 28, and he's from Australia, so we'll keep an eye out, but it does seem like many at Amazon want him. There's also rumors of a pretty unknown British actor, who we don't know the name of, is being rumored for Bond as well. So we'll kind of see how this plays out, but they're definitely narrowing down a cast finally. Next, we have actor Jeremy Irons, who is set to play the villain in Chad Stahelski's upcoming Highlander reboot movie. Filming has been pushed due to lead actor Henry Cavill getting injured, but the cast is looking good for Highlander. Adam Driver and Anne Hathaway are set to lead in a film from Ron Howard. The movie is called Alone at Dawn and is set to shoot in November. The film is about an Air Force combat controller in Afghanistan who tries to save 23 fellow soldiers. Ron Howard really hasn't had a hit in over a decade. His latest film, Eden, literally just came out, but with very little fanfare. But between Alone at Dawn, grabbing two big stars, and another film he's developing, a firefighter film with Glenn Powell, maybe Howard still has some juice left. We're kind of pulling for him a little bit. It does seem like he's still pulling down some pretty good cast, and we'll just see how Alone at Dawn comes out in the wash. But with that, Glenn Powell, yes, more Glenn Powell. So director Damien Chazelle has had a tough time locking down an actor to play Evel Knievel in his Evel Knievel biopic. So first Leo DiCaprio was to star, but then he had to drop out. The role then went to Brad Pitt, who seems to have dropped out. And now, although the movie has been pushed back, it appears that Glenn Powell might be stepping in to play Evel Knievel himself, so we'll see where that goes. Damien has now fast-tracked a prison movie that he's working on, which now has just been confirmed that Cillian Murphy and Daniel Craig will be starring in that. So there were rumors of that a few months ago that we covered, but we are very excited to see that those stars are officially locked down for that project. And finally, some pirate rumors. Pirates of the Caribbean 6 is still very much being worked on at Disney. The script is being worked on currently, and at first, Disney had two competing ideas for what a sixth film could look like. The one featuring Margot Robbie as the lead role seems to have lost out to the story more involving Captain Jack Sparrow, but now, potentially, there might be a little room for both stories. As producer Jerry Bruckheimer has said that Margot Robbie is still involved with the project, and this has sparked rumors that Robbie and Johnny Depp will be starring side by side in the new Pirates film. The only thing I have here are two director stories. So first, Park Chan-Wook, whose film Old Boy we just covered on the podcast recently, and who has a new film spreading some buzz in the festivals. He said now that he really wants his next film to be a Western, and an ultra-violent Western, with the writer of the story being S. Craig Zahler, who himself is a very intense story writer and also director with Bone Tomahawk and Brawl in Cell Block 99. If these two were to team up, watch out. This would be one very intense, gritty, gory, violent, awesome Western, probably. So we'll have more on that if Wook is able to lock down the film. And then Francis Ford Coppola will be starting production on his latest film next month. So Glimpse of the Moon is the title of the film, and shooting will be starting in Italy. Coppola has said that the film is like a strange 30s-style musical, loosely based on a novel of the same name, and also a 1937 film called The Awful Truth. Coppola certainly goes to the beat of his own drum. He has funded this project, though, in a more conventional way, rather than personally financing a $120 million self-described epic that ended up absolutely bombing. So we'll see if Coppola can get his fastball back. His last film, Megalopolis, certainly flabbergasted the few who actually saw the movie. But with that, let's jump on over to the box office for this past weekend. So fifth highest grossing was The Conjuring Last Rites, making $4.1 million. Fourth was Gabby's Dollhouse the Movie with $5.2 million. Third was newly released The Smashing Machine with a pretty disappointing $6 million opening weekend. Second then was One Battle After Another, dropping off 50% from last weekend. That just making $11.1 million. And the biggest movie at the box office this weekend was Taylor Swift, the official release party of a showgirl, raking in $33 million. So, good for Tay-Tay. Now, coming up this Thursday, Vincent Daly will be watching, rating, and reviewing. We have 3 newly released films for you this week. So first, from writer-director Shane Black over at Amazon, the film is called Play Dirty, and it's starring Mark Wahlberg and Lakeith Stanfield. Then Anemone. So this film, directed by Daniel Day-Lewis's son, Ronan, and this is starring Sean Bean, and Daniel is coming back to acting after an 8-year hiatus, so very excited to hear about that. And finally, we are covering Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the new A24 Benny Safdie movie, The Smashing Machine. So can't wait to hear what Vin has to say about The Rock's transformation in that. But that's it for your weekly movie news here, folks. We'll leave you today with a quote from a director, Francis Ford Coppola. "You ought to love what you're doing, because, especially in a movie, over time, you really start to hate it." And all right, folks, the Daily Ratings weekly movie news podcast, that was it. See you on Thursday.